In this video, I'm going to talk about the pros and cons of living in Southern Chester County. Let's get started. Hi, I'm Mike Skay, and this is Philly Area Living. If you like learning about the homes, the people, the places, and the businesses that make the Philly area a great place to live, then do me a favor, hit the subscribe button, click that notification bell, and you'll be notified every time I release a new video. Today we're going to talk about the pros and cons of living in Southern Chester County. When we talk about Southern Chester County, what are we talking about? Where does it start? Where does it end? What's considered part of Southern Chester County? Well, let's talk about that. Southern Chester County starts around the Kennett Square area. Some people might consider the Chadds Ford area part of that. I like to think of that more as the Westchester area. So from Kennett Square all the way down to the Maryland state line following Route 1. So if you're following Route 1 south, you're going to come up on Longwood Gardens, you're going to start hitting Kennett Square, and that's really where Southern Chester County starts. You're going to then pass through Avondale and Chatham and West Grove. You pass through the town of Oxford, and then you're going to hit the Maryland state line pretty quickly after that. It goes as far east as the Delaware state line, and to the west, it hits southern Lancaster County, and it only goes, in some cases, a few miles west of Route 1. Okay, now you know where Southern Chester County is. Let's talk about the pros of living there. The first one right off the bat you're going to notice is the lack of traffic. If you're used to living or working in Delaware County, Philadelphia, Montgomery County, or even the Westchester area or Northern Chester County, you're going to notice right away that the traffic out here is completely different. There just isn't much of it. At most, around Christmas time, you're going to see some traffic around Longwood Gardens as you're heading to Kennett Square. And for about an hour or so, Monday through Friday, you're going to hit some traffic on Route 41, which passes through Avondale as you're heading to Delaware. But that's about it. It's only a few minutes of a wait at each spot. And as you're going through the Longwood Gardens area, they've done some road construction there to widen it, and you really don't even deal with it there anymore. The second pro of living in Southern Chester County is that you're getting more house for your money. You're getting more home, and you're getting more land at the same time. So for example, in Delaware County in Springfield, there's a house that sold for $325,000. It had 1,400 square feet. It was 3-bedroom, 1 bath. Had a nice yard, but not too big. You paid around $7,000 in real estate taxes. Really nice house, just tight compared to what you would get in Southern Chester County. In Southern Chester County, especially at the Oxford and Nottingham area, you're going to get twice as much square footage. You're going to be in the 2,500 square foot range for that price, if not more square footage. You're also going to be anywhere from 1/3 of an acre to a whole acre of land for that as well. The real estate taxes are probably going to be pretty much the same there, maybe a little less, depending, maybe a little more, but roughly about the same. Also, it's far more square footage and far more land than you're ever going to get if you're living in the city. Now, there's benefits to living in the city, I'm not saying that, but if you're looking for more house, more bang for your buck, you're going to find it in Southern Chester County than you will in Delaware County, Philadelphia, Montgomery County, Northern Chester County, basically anywhere in the area you can think of. Okay, the third pro of living in Southern Chester County is that on average, the houses are newer. A lot of the development that's happened out here has happened in the last 15 or 20 years. So you're dealing with floor plans that are a little more open. You're dealing with less maintenance issues. You're dealing with materials that were used that might not be as dangerous. You're not going to be dealing with lead paint. You're not going to be dealing with asbestos out here as much. There are some older homes out here for sure. But on a whole, most of the houses that you're looking at out here have been built in the last 20 years. The fourth pro of living in Southern Chester County is all the open space. There's tons of farmland out here, and it's always been a farming area, and that's kind of what it's been known for a long time. But the townships have taken great care to block off areas for development, to keep open space available so that we're not just one community on top of each other. It allows this area to still have some of that small town feel. The fifth pro of living in Southern Chester County is the small town feel. Now, there's only about 4 or 5 towns that run from Kennett down to the PA-Maryland state line. Those are small towns surrounded by the housing developments that have built up over the last 15 or 20 years. In between that is farmland and open space. So you're really going miles in between towns. The result of that is that you have a lot more small business owners. You're dealing with people who live in the area. They're dealing with you. You get to know them. It's a really great experience. It's one of the things you hear about. You hear older people talking about how that was a great part of our country so long ago, and you get to experience that out here. I live close to a hardware store called Cameron's, and instead of going up to the box store like a Lowe's, I just go over to Cameron's. The people who work there know what they're talking about. They might be a plumber, they might be an electrician, and usually they'll call one of those people who are an expert on that subject as something you need, and it's right there. My air conditioner a part went on it on a weekend, on a Sunday. If I would have went to Lowe's, they wouldn't have had the part. I went over to this hardware store. Because they actually service stuff like that, they had those parts on hand. It's a great little feel. Around the corner a little further is a lumber yard. I can get quality lumber there at a great price, and I'm not going and picking through all the crap that you get at a big box store. All right, we've talked about the pros of living in southern Chester County. Let's talk about the cons. The first one right off the bat is you got to drive everywhere to get somewhere, and those commutes can be long, especially if you're somebody who works in Delaware County, who works in Montgomery County, who works along that 202 corridor between King of Prussia and Westchester, or has to get into the city. The commute can be a long one, but not as long as you think. For example, I grew up in Delaware County. If I wanted to get anywhere from southeastern Delaware County to, say, King of Prussia, let's say we're talking about Ridley. If I had to get from Ridley to King of Prussia on a good day, not a lot of traffic, we're talking 40 minutes. To get to King of Prussia from Oxford, 48 minutes. So it's an 8-minute difference. Now, if you need to get in the city, you're looking at about an hour. If you need to get back into Delaware County, you're looking at around 50 minutes. And depending on how close you get to the city, you're creeping up on that hour as well. But not too bad, but that is one of the downsides of living in southern Chester County is the drive time. The second con of living in southern Chester County kind of piggybacks off of that first one, is there's not a lot of shopping around here. There's not a lot of places to go. So you have to drive everywhere. There's no, let me hop in the car in 2 minutes, I'm at a store. If let me hop in the car and in 10 minutes, I might be at a store. And if I don't like that store, I have to drive a half hour to another town or another area to hit a whole bunch of shopping. So that can be a downside, but that's kind of the price you pay for not having to deal with all the traffic, for a little peace and quiet, to not feel as, for the area to not feel as congested. The third con of living in southern Chester County is you don't have access to public transportation. So if you need to take regional rail to get into the city, you're either driving all the way down to Wilmington or you're going up in the Downingtown area. That's at least a half hour to 40-minute drive just to catch the train and head into the city. So public transportation is almost non-existent out here. There's no SEPTA out here. There's a regional van service that goes around between the towns, but other than that, no public transportation. And finally, the last con of living in southern Chester County is there's just limited things to do. If you live close to the city and you want to go do something on a weekend, you can pop in, take in a cultural event, an arts event, go to a concert, any of those things, go see some historical site. They do have that out here in southern Chester County, just not as much. So if you see something you want to do on a weekend, sometimes you got to plan ahead because that's a heck of a drive. Also, just as a bonus con to living in southern Chester County is if your family is up in Philadelphia or Delaware County or northern Chester County, there's no popping in to see you. You might think that could be a pro for you or a con, but for me it's a con in that I'm used to growing up to where on Sundays you popped in and saw 2 or 3 different family members at their houses, and that was your Sunday, and you got to see a bunch of your family. Out here, it's a day trip. So you're not popping over for an hour and then driving out because it took you an hour to drive out here. It's going to take you an hour to get back. So there's none of that out here. If you're coming out for the day. You may be spending the night just to make the drive worth it. Okay, well, there are the pros and cons of living in southern Chester County. I hope this video was insightful and helpful for you. If it was, do me a favor and like it. If there's a pro or con that I missed or you want to add one to the list, do me a favor and put that in the comments below. Also below, in the description is my contact information. I'm also a local real estate agent, so I'm helping people throughout the Philadelphia region move in or move out of the area, buy or sell homes, and they have tons of questions for me that come from these videos. I'm always happy to take a phone call, take an email, text me, whatever you need to do. I'd love to help you out. I hope you found this video helpful, and thank you for stopping by and watching it.